Hello, welcome back. Today I thought I could do a tier ranking of all, well, maybe not all, some of the romance books that I've read in my short yet beautiful life. In my first YouTube video, I talked about how the romance genre was the top genre that I've read ever since I started reading seriously at the age of 12 or 13. And fast forward to now, I have decided to take a step back and not reach for it as much as I used to, and I have stayed true to that. I think I only read one romance book this year, and that was Deep End by Ali Hazelwood, and so I thought it would be an interesting video to make. First, I want to introduce the tiers that I've created. So the top tier is My New Religion, which means I was obsessed. I was in a frenzy trying to finish this book. Physically, I could be doing other stuff, but mentally, I was just counting down the seconds to get back to finishing the story. And I was just rooting so hard for the characters to make it, even though, they always make it. Obsessed, 5 stars, a million stars. So the next tier is Make Me Giggle, Make Me Blush. These are the books that I had the best time reading as well, but not so much as the top tier, obviously. I still enjoyed it very much, but it was just missing a little something, just a little tiny bit something. The next tier is a little corny, but I'll allow it. There is a fine line between a good love story and a corny love story. And these are the books that stayed within its corniness. So the books might just have some scenes that I'm just a little like, okay. It gave me a little bit of an ick, but it's fine. I'll allow it. The next tier is forgettable. It was unremarkable. There was nothing new. I did not think about this book once I finished it. I don't think I even thought about it while reading it. It was just like, okay, well, that's done. Let's move on. And the last tier is should I quit reading? These are the books that made me wish I did not read. It made me wish that I did not know how to read. So I just put a bunch of books that I've read and we're just gonna go through it randomly. So let's get started. The first book is Get a Life, Chloe Brown. I don't remember this book. I know that there are three Brown sisters, and I've read all three. One of them is chronically ill, and one of them is a very hyper independent woman who needs no man. I don't remember which one this is. I think she's the chronically ill one. Other than that, I don't remember, so that's going into the forgettable tier. And next we have Love Theoretically. Guys, I did not expect to love this book, especially after the first book that I read by Ali Hazelwood. I don't know why I decided to give this book a chance. I think I saw it on TikTok and there were some cute scenes that they were talking about, and I was like, "Ooh, I might enjoy this one." And I read it. I was kicking my feet, giggling alone. This is going to the Make Me Giggle, Make Me Blush. It was lacking a little bit something, but it was leagues better than the first book that I read by her. Next, we have 7 Days in June. I was really looking forward to reading this book because everyone had such nice things to say and the cover looks great. I think they were just bonding over trauma and it was just lacking something. It was supposed to give, but it did not give. So I'll put this in forgettable. Perhaps? Yes. The next book, we have The Hating Game by Sally Rooney. I was obsessed with this book when I first read it. I think I reread it way too much that I found it a little creepy because what do you mean he painted his bedroom the color of her eyes after the first week of meeting her? That's a little concerning. You know what? I'll allow it because he's a fictional man, but in real life, that would not fly. And so I will put this in a little corny, but I'll allow it. Next book, we have The 7 Year Slip. And this, guys, I was frantically trying to finish this book. It has to do with time traveling. I don't really know how to describe the timeline of this book, but I just remembered how it made me feel. It made me feel hopeful, but also it made me feel a little bit crazed to finish this book and read about these two people. Ugh, Chef's Kiss, My New Religion. The screen recording is a little bit. Next, we have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. I think I would have enjoyed this when I first started reading romance and like YA romance specifically. But after being like a seasoned romance reader, this book was just a little cringy. There's something a little bit painful reading about an author who is not Gen Z, writing about Gen Z characters and trying to just like be so relatable. And this will be in I don't know, it is a little corny, but is it better than forgettable? You know what? A little corny, but I'll allow it. I feel like I was just not the right target reader for this book. Next, we have The Love Hypothesis. And this is here, guys. I don't I did not like this book at all, which is crazy how I actually gave another book of hers another chance and enjoyed it. And I think I've enjoyed all her other books. Her later books I enjoyed, but not Love Hypothesis. The next one is Daydream. I like this one. I thought it was cute. There's significantly less smut than in the first book, which I really enjoyed. I enjoyed that there's not as much smut, not that I enjoyed the first book. Spoiler alert. I found myself relating to Henry, which is interesting because he's like a hot ice hockey player. So this is gonna go into this category. Next, we have Icebreaker by Hannah Grace. This is the first book in the I don't know what it's called. Is it a series? This book is tricky because I enjoyed it, but I was aware of just how much a lot of nothing was happening. It was way too long for a hockey romance book. So this is gonna go into the a little corny, but I'll allow it. Next, we have Ugly Love. I'm just gonna put it right there. And along with Ugly Love is It Ends With Us. This Okay, I'm not gonna be harsh. I'm gonna put this in forgettable. This is the last book that I've read of Colleen Hoover. I went into like a Colleen Hoover phase when I was in high school, and I read most of like her older books. So It Ends With Us came out in 2017, I believe, and I finished that book, and I just never picked up any of her books ever again. Even when she blew up on TikTok years later, that wasn't enough for me to, like give her newer books a try. I was just like, I am done with Colleen Hoover. This is it. And yeah, never looked back. The next book is The Deal by Elle Kennedy. So this is part of the Off-Campus series, and it's also like complementary to another series. And I think I've read most of them. I definitely finished Off-Campus, and it was just like okay. They were fine. Like they're a good time. So this is, you know what? I'll put it here. A little corny, but I'll allow it because I liked it enough to finish the entire series and then read the next series. Next one we have Just for the Summer. I think the author has a very tried and true formula of how she writes her romance books, which is, the female character is the one with all the problems, which is great. We gotta support women in male dominated fields, and it's always the guy who's just instantly all in. I personally don't enjoy insta love tropes, so a lot of her books I just don't generally gel with. Yeah, so this was just forgettable for me. The next book is also by the same author. It's The Friend Zone. I think this is the first book that I've read by her, and again, forgettable. Next book, we're entering the Emily Henry phase. So we have Happy Place. I really enjoyed this book. It made me cry, it made me laugh, it made me feel for the characters. I know a lot of people don't like this book because of the miscommunication trope. I myself am not a fan of how the miscommunication trope is often executed, but this one was very well done. I'm gonna put it right here. You know what? Before I continue with other Emily Henry books, I would like to say I had the best time reading her books while I'm reading it. But after, I don't quite remember, but going back and reading my reviews, I was like, wow, I had the best time reading this book, but I just can't recall what happened. People We Meet on Vacation. I read it, loved it, and then did not remember anything. So I read it again and I was obsessed. This is part of my new religion. Next, we have Funny Story. This is her latest edition, and gotta be honest with you, this is my least favorite Emily Henry book. I feel like it lacked that Emily Henry touch. It's still a good romance book, but I don't think it was able to live up to her other previous works. So this, I'm gonna put it in forgettable. Next, we have Book Lovers. I don't remember a single thing from this book, but I loved it. According to my review, I was obsessed. Last Emily Henry book is Beach Read. This is another book that I had to reread by her because, again, did not remember a single thing. I'm just gonna put this in made me giggle, made me blush. Next, we have Out on a Limb. I really enjoyed this book. I normally don't gravitate towards the accidental pregnancy trope, but this one was really well done, and I'm just gonna put this in made me giggle, made me blush. Next book is Love and Other Words. I don't really remember what happened. Next up is Twisted Love. This book made me realize that I don't enjoy and I will not indulge grumpy, broody male characters anymore. The next book is The Happy Ever After Playlist. This book is my favorite book by the author. I was just like rooting so hard for the characters, but there wasn't enough groveling, so it's gonna be here. The next book is The Spanish Love Deception. I'm just gonna put this right here because I will not allow enemies to lovers in a workplace setting. You're not enemies, you just don't communicate. The next book is The Kiss Potion. I don't remember a single thing from this book, guys. I think he's a male escort and she is on the spectrum. I hope that's right. The next book is It Happened One Summer. This book made me giggle, it made me blush. It's also the first book that I read by her and I really enjoyed it. So it made me really hopeful for the sequel of this book, but I don't remember anything from this book. The next book is Wildfire. This is the second book in the Icebreaker universe. I think this was a little corny. Or it could be forgettable. I'll put it in a little corny because he's 21 and he calls her sweetheart. After reading Sunrise on the Reaping, sweetheart is just reserved for hey bitch. Next book is The X-Wows. Guys, I was kind of frothing at the mouth trying to finish this book. I've never rooted for two people to make it so hard. And that's saying a lot because these are two fictional characters. And if anyone's gonna make it, it's two people in a romance book. The next book is Collide. I'm just gonna put it on forgettable. Next book is Funny You Should Ask. I read this book because of the cover. It's pink and it's pretty, but I don't remember. Part of Your World, again, a little corny. Yeah, that's all I can say. Next book, Indigo Ridge. I think this is the second book of a series, and I read the first one. I was like, And so I gave it another chance, and I read the second book, and it was still not convincing. Forgettable. Last but not least, it is How to End a Love Story. And this book, I think I read it when I was in a slump and nothing was kind of pulling me out of that slump. And I read this book and I fell in love. So I'm just gonna put it right here. Oop, right here. So this is it for my tier ranking. I think I would say I'm satisfied with how it looks. Let me know if you've read any of these books and how would you rank them. And I have a ton more romance books that I could rank again. So let me know if you would like that and I'll see you next time.